Central Time. People are pretty much getting home from work. There's been a very busy, um, how do you say, it's been a very busy uh, 24 hours with a lot of analysis and a lot of social media that have been doing their own analysis, but I've been kind of keeping up with the niche. We do have a few people coming in here. So, in my assessment, the recent Trump Harris presidential debate left many viewers hanging with crucial issues left unsaid, particularly reparations. One glaring omission that deserves a spotlight is the absence of any mention of reparations. It's disheartening that neither candidate broached this essential topic that holds immense significance for Afro descendants. Now, let's talk about Afro descendants, a group whose historical wounds run deep. These are descendants of those who were forcibly uprooted from their African homelands, subjected to the horrors of slavery, and stripped of their identities through brutal means. Their journey includes enduring slavery, forced breeding, cultural and linguistic erasure, and generations of systemic racial discrimination. The term Afro descendant doesn't just signify a group of people, it represents a resilience that transcends centuries of oppression. They are undergoing an ethnogenesis, a profound process of reclaiming heritage and resurrecting their true selves after enduring 400 years of unimaginable suffering. Reparations are not just about financial compensation, they symbolize acknowledgement, reconciliation, and a commitment excuse me, to rectifying the deep rooted injustices faced by Afro descendants and their communities. And above all, if you are a descendant of those that fall under the definition that I just described, you are considered internationally an Afro descendant. By failing to address this critical issue, both candidates missed a crucial opportunity to engage with a group of people that has endured immeasurable pain and loss and have supported this country unconditionally. In a debate where words hold weight and promises shape futures, the absence of any discussion on reparations speaks volumes about the gaps in our national dialogue. It's high time that we confront our history, acknowledge the atrocities committed, and take concrete steps towards healing and justice for all marginalized communities, especially the resilient Afro descendants who continue to fight for recognition and inequality. That is pretty much how we will open up there. We do have a few people in there, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Sister Mecca who has joined us. And peace and blessings for those of you who are watching and who would like to have a discussion and give their opinion about the debate and what they saw. Any disappointment, any gladness, any surprises that you might think of. The Zoom link is in the chat. So please join us here. It is open for any and everyone. We welcome all opinions here for this. And I just wanted to turn it over to Sister Cody. I just wanted to get your opinion on and your just a summary of how you felt about the debate last night.
Well, thank you so much, my brother, for giving me an opportunity to speak on it. Like I said in the opening, it was a bunch of nothing, and you alluded to the fact that a bunch of nothing, meaning that it had substance for our people, for descendants of the enslaved, for the descendants of those who have been victims of systematic racism. Um, the mere fact that they failed to even acknowledge us as a group should be a wake-up call to all of us, in that we should be gathering ourselves together to form our own selves nation with the idea of being self-determined, not dependent on whether or not the government will say they will allow us to exercise our human right of self-determination. And also, we also need to grasp this opportunity, take this opportunity to define ourselves instead of going with how the government or the Europeans have labeled us since the end of chattel slavery. So we have an opportunity to say, hey, we are a nation of people and we're called Afro descendants. And that's a broad umbrella. We're not a monolith of people, but we are a people that are unique people, and they totally ignored us. Kamala has already said that she's not going to do anything specifically for Black people. So I'm of the understanding that when they tell you who they are and they show you who they are, believe them. Donald Trump attempted to distance himself from Project 2025, but as sure as his mouth was moving, I couldn't believe anything that he was saying, because everybody that's tied to the writing of Project 2025 comes from his former cabinet or as a former associate of his. And so if we are going to advance as a group of people, we have to come together as a collective with one message, that we are a nation of people that will not stand for systematic racism and deprivation of basic human rights. We have to step forward and exercise our right to self-determination, leading to our right to get reparations from an unjust nation. So that's my opening, my brother. And like I said, all of those things that I just said that pertains to us was void, coming from the president, the former president, the vice president, and also the commentators or the moderators who were asking the questions. Their questions did not even lend to them to address our community, other than asking Kamala if she's Black or not. Totally disrespectful, I think, to our community. And for that, I say you shouldn't vote for either one of those. Instead, you should cast your vote in the plebiscite vote for the Afro-descendant nation. And with that, I yield the mic. Salute, Sister Mecca.
Sister Mecca, are you there? Would you like to chime in on the debate? If you can unmute your mic. I know you have a lot to say. I know you've been watching a lot going on in those Twitter streets, keeping your ear to the ground. Can you give us an idea of what you've been seeing out there and kind of the responses people have been given, especially people in our self-determination reparations niche? If you could let us know, chime in. And while she's doing so, I just want to reach out. We got about uh, 13 people in here. Please like and subscribe. Join the Afro Descendant Nation via afrodescendant.org. No matter what your background, we are pursuing reparations and we are attempting to gather our people in this movement under the umbrella of reparations, self-determination. Please like, share, and subscribe and support us. Sister Mecca, are you there? She may be. Just chime in when you get a chance, sister. But I was able to go through and review pretty much what's been going on in social media, and I'm calling it our niche, but our people, our tribe in general. And the sentiment is the same as what we've described here. So I feel confident that we here at the Afro Descendant Nation and on the National Reparations Convention YouTube channel and all platforms, and in our activism, we do believe that we are in line with everyone out there in saying that our history in the United States of America is we're going through a process of attempted erasure, and as we said, uh, we're going through some form of ethnocide, uh, and it looks like we are about fed up. Um, and the sentiment out there is that if the presidential candidates, no matter who they are, with the exception of a few, and we support our 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 brother Cornel West and Dr. Cornel West and Melina Abdullah, who have come forward in support for reparations. But among the what they call major candidates, they everyone seems to agree that we haven't been recognized. That none of them have really moved the needle in this debate. We are seeing that it is implied that Kamala, Vice President Kamala Harris, did win the debate, and I will admit, from what I saw, and admittedly I didn't see everything, but from what I saw, it did appear that Vice President Kamala did get the best of former President Donald Trump. But either way, it doesn't seem like she moved the needle at all, because all Afro descendants are trying to hear right now is what's in it for us. Everybody else is getting theirs, just like the eloquent sister. I posted the short on the Facebook page and on our Twitter page. You know, black and brown coalitions don't work for us because brown is getting the money and black is getting nothing. We define ourselves as Afro descendants, and although it's a little bit more complicated because a few of the brown are considered Afro descendants also. However, as it relates to the United States, we're not just that's not getting our needs addressed. We are putting forth this on a platform, and people are continuing to tell us that this is insignificant, while we are continuously saying it is significant. Do you think, Sister Cody, there was anyone that I know your stance. You gave a great opening monologue, but do you feel that anyone at least emerged, any one of these two candidates in the debate emerged as um, someone that appeared more favorable than the other? Seems like you're on mute, sister.
Yeah, so I would definitely have to lean towards Donald Trump, just for the simple fact that he brought more substance to his answers. Now, a lot of people said that he evaded the questions, but he did a good job with pointing out the failures of this current administration. And so, being is that you can feel what's happening to you right now, and it does feel like he's right that things were a little bit better pre-COVID. So I would have to say that he was right in that regards, and I don't know what type of fantasy world Kamala is living in right now, but the economy is not great for us. So she just spoke to what can be. Well, we're talking about what is now. You've had almost 4 years to establish what could have been, right? So that's my take on it. I think Donald Trump did a very good job of uh, bringing back to memory how good well, some of us were better off prior to the pandemic.
Yes, ma'am. And I have heard that opinion a lot prior to the pandemic, and we do have a few comments in the chat. So I have posted the Zoom link once again, and you're welcome to join and chime in. You don't have to be on camera. We just want to hear your opinion, if you do have one. We're opening this up to everyone. Now, I at times I do agree with the sentiment about Donald Trump. However, I'm someone that I grew up in New York City. I am roughly the same age of the exonerated five, as they call them. And I just remember being a teenager at the time, and I could have been someone that was possibly very close to the situation in terms of that could have been me. Railroaded, losing my entire young adult life as those young men at the time had, and then having to fight for something that I didn't do. Spend a major portion of my life, and for Donald Trump to have said the things that he said to throw fuel on the fire at the time in the city, that is an unforgivable thing. And it's almost like even if you do make a good point, I can't hear you. No, but I do understand in my objective mind, as well, many of the points that you said there. However, as for myself, I don't see where anyone pulled ahead. And, you know, in many cases, you hear election after election. This is the most important election in U.S. history. Now, I think from an Afro descendant standpoint in America, this is probably the most important election in history because we had a live stream on Sunday where the conductor, attorney Malik Z. Shabazz, said that if Kamala wins, we in trouble. If Trump wins, we in trouble. So at least from our standpoint, this is this is the most pivotal election in U.S. history from Black Afro descendant standpoint. How do you feel about the climate? I'm not in the United States at the moment. How do you feel about the climate there, and what do you foresee as an outcome of the elections for Afro descendants, at least?
A wake up call. A wake up call in that either way you vote, it's just going to be some more of the status quo, some more of the same, because they're telling you right now that they have nothing in store for you. No, no plan for economic empowerment. No plan to rid homeless crisis. No plans to do something with the unemployment rate. No plans to improve um, upward mobility within just corporations. Matter of fact, they're right in line with allowing this country to bring us back to Jim Crow. So when I say they, I mean the Democrats. So if they really want to garner support from our community, then they would address our concerns. And right now, the overwhelming, from what I can see on the ground, in around grassroots individuals, organizations, they want reparations, and that's not just cash payments. That's self determination. That's land through land back programs. We're not those same individuals, bless their hearts, that was coming straight off the plantation. We understand how system of governments work now, and we have a list of demands. So I would say to my brethren, don't throw your vote away. Make it count for yourself. Make it count for yourself. And so that's why I support Afro Descendant Nation and all of their efforts to wake up our people and let them know that there is a nation. You don't have to just do the status quo. This government, as it stands, has when I mean the United States government as it stands has a lot of modifications to do. But even with those modifications, you can't just write yourself into their system. And when I say you, I mean us as a nation of people. So why why try to fix what was never meant for you anyways? It just doesn't make sense right now for us. So where I see us as a nation is at a point where we are forced to come together and do for self.
Absolutely, absolutely. Want to give a shout out to everyone on in the chat here. There is a Zoom link. Wanted to reiterate, we won't be on here long. We've been doing quite a few live streams on the channel. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to us on. We're also on Twitter at nrc.social. Same at nrc.social on Instagram. We have at NRC Social on Facebook, and we also have Afro Descendant Nation on Facebook. This is how we disseminate all of the great work that's being done by all of our partners in the reparation movement, as well as especially within the Afro Descendant Nation. Um, I wanted to reiterate we do have the Zoom link in the chat. This is open. We have 14 viewers right now. Anyone is able to come up on the platform, provide your opinion. Why you think Kamala, Vice President Kamala was successful, or why Trump was successful, or why neither was successful, or why reparations was important. Because our opinion matters, and we have to get out there. And one thing that Sister Cody brought up is our coming of age. Politically, our political maturity developing in the country, and I don't think that that was something that at least the Democratic Party was ready for. And as you can see, they're pulling out all the stops in order to ensure that the black vote is secured, because no group supports any political party as much as Afro descendants in America support the Democratic Party. Pretty much the Democratic Party most likely does not have a base without Afro descendants. It appears that the Democrats tried to build a coalition of minority groups in an attempt to build a base to replace Afro descendants, but they haven't been successful. I hear statistics in that even among immigrant groups who the Democrats try to court a lot, they are split, and that being Asians and Latinos, to mention a few as the two major um, immigrant groups that support that are eligible to vote. It's about 50-50. So Asians can go Democrat, 50% Democrat, 50% Republican, as well as Latinos. And in most cases, by the second and third generation, most of them are already almost all the way Republican. So Afro descendants, 96% supporting the Democratic Party, and they're pulling out all the stops in order to be able to court the black vote, including having all of the rappers, Beyonce, Meg The Stallion, and the brother Plies on Twitter, from your home state, trying to cape for, the Democrats, and with all the juvenile, get your booty to the polls and things like that, that we've seen in the last 5 years. Um, what is the pulse of the black people that you actually know in terms of how they view VP Harris as a candidate?
Um, okay, so until recently, she wasn't even a part of the conversation. So the feeling is now is that she's definitely trying to cape for the black vote, and knows that she knows what the Democratic Party is trying to do, and she's a willing participant of the charade. And so, and basically, all I can say, brother, is that we see her and we're not impressed. Um, just because she's coming out today saying that she's a part of our community does not move the needle for us, because we've seen this parade before with someone who so-called looked like us, and we got nothing in return for just simply voting for them because they look like us. So like the other presidential candidate that no one seems to talk about but that you talked about, Dr. Cornel West, said immediately that, hey, I don't expect the African American community to vote for me just because I'm black. I want you to vote for me because I stand for the issues that resonate with you all. So Kamala doesn't have any issues that resonate with us. Not even her stance on so called Palestine, not even her so called affordable housing plan, um, $25,000 for first time home buyers. Well, that does nothing for people who can't even qualify for a home, ma'am, which is the majority of us in our community. So, um, you know, she wants to claim that Trump is not the king of having us as Afro descendants have jobs. She's responsible for us having these record number of employment rates. But it was her administration that put a lot of our entrepreneurs out of business. She talked about small businesses wanting to help them. What? She wants to help them reclaim what they lost under her administration with the mandates. We all know how they so-called gained these jobs back. So it's a lot of rhetoric and it's a lot of fluff and it's a lot of nothing, like I said, when you really break it all down. So she sold us some cookies to get on as vice president. Some, are still on that train. I didn't see her as anything or anybody that should be paid attention to then, and I don't see her as someone that I should pay attention to now, even if she is in the White House. The best thing that she can do for us is acknowledge us as a unique group of people that deserve reparations and deserve the right to exercise our right to self-determination. That's what she can do for us.
Absolutely. You know, and it doesn't seem that's going to happen. And to your point, it's like a lot of our people are just like, you know, if she doesn't do that, then she's irrelevant. So I'm not sure where the support is going to come from that's needed, but it seems like she's tight with in the polls with Trump at this point. But as it's we'll see what happens ultimately. But it doesn't appear like there's real support for her. And with that said, on as for me on the Trump side, I don't see any real support for him. I don't see where he had merged. He's definitely didn't seem as entertaining as he had been previously, and that could be, what people allude to the fact that he might be intimidated by a black woman, or I'm not sure, why. I don't know if the court cases have had any bearing on him, wearing him down, the assassination attempt, wearing him down, but he doesn't seem as energetic as he has been in the past two presidential runs. But this is a different kind of candidate. So I don't, but I also don't see where many of our people, Afro descendants, would actually be supporting him either on any of the issues. And the funny thing is, there are a lot of people that I do know who do actually like Trump. However, one thing that I see where the conflict comes in is you can find yourself in the company of a lot of unsavory people, right? You can find yourself in the company of outright racists, right? Uh, you know, uh, 2 degrees from Ku Klux Klan, right, and Nazis and stuff, neo Nazis and stuff like that. Even though I believe neo Nazis don't like him, they don't like anything about the establishment themselves. However, you just find yourself in the room with a lot of unsavory people, so it makes it very hard to justify you supporting a man who has a base where maybe the extreme fringes of that group of people, you can't explain. I couldn't explain that to anybody in my network why how I could sit in the room with those types of people. So at that, and saying all that to say, um, with both candidates, none of them moving the needle on the radar, none of them emerging in the first debate since VP Harris was announced as the Democratic candidate. Um, this debate did not do it for our people. And at some point in this reparations movement, our people will definitely be looking for an alternative to what to the maybe the political system altogether. I wanted to shout out brother Kamal Shabazz out of Philadelphia. Peace and blessings to the brother. Everyone in the chat, Sister Mecca, please join. I posted the Zoom link. This is open to everyone. All any of your opinions count. Does matter. Tell us what you're doing in the reparations movement, the organization, where you're from, all over the country. So please let me know where you're from, what your opinions are. If you believe Vice President Harris is the one, if she is the going to be the first female president, why you feel that way. We're also live streaming on the Twitter space. And we with Sister Mecca. Sister Mecca, if you could please drop your Twitter handle or the link to the Twitter just for future reference, because we do simultaneously live stream on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and all participation is welcome. But I do know one thing: if we, Sister Cody, if we don't get what we need out of this election, some people on the grassroots are going to have to start to get involved more, because the future of our children are at stake. Once we get this, once we get into a fix in a situation, no matter who becomes president, it takes about a generation or two to fix things, and in our case, nearly a dozen generations for us to fix things. And at some point, this is going to have to start now. And clearly, there's a leadership vacuum in at least probably the legislative body. We have the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, who's having their annual event. And based on what we saw in California 2 weeks ago, we'd like to know what their opinions are on the overall presidential campaign, and why Vice President Harris has not put forward an agenda for reparations. Now, I did, to her credit, see one video, and I forget who was asking her the question, and she just kind of nodded her head saying, yeah, I do support reparations. And don't get it wrong, I don't think Donald Trump is going to support reparations either. So with that said, I'm not supporting either one. Just try to be as objective as possible. My main purpose, my goal, my mission is reparations. So in that case, if you support reparations, I support you. If you don't support reparations, I don't support you. We do have Sister Professor Fahima Sek of Howard University, who has joined us. She's logging into the Zoom. Sister, follow her on Twitter. Very strong in the movement, a strong supporter, strong activist. Thank you, Sister Mecca, for pointing us out to her work. And while we wait to do so, for Professor Fahima Sek to join, this is a live stream that's open to everyone. We want to open it up. We don't just want this to be a one-way conversation. We are an umbrella organization here at the Afro Descendant Nation, and those that will ultimately watch the recording. We want you to know that your opinions do matter. So if you do have any questions, please reach out to us at our website, afrodescendant.org. Leave a comment, leave your email, reach out to us. Our email is also info@afrodescendant.org, and learn about some of the great work that has been done for the last 30 years to establish our identity, which is something that we didn't have prior to the establishment of at least a working identity within the United Nations. We simply didn't exist. And it's evident in this debate that us not being mentioned we simply don't exist to these people. And well, we do. We just our platforms and our needs and our wants don't exist to them. So it's time for us to assert ourselves righteously, and there's nothing wrong in doing so. Right? We see people who assert themselves all the time. What's within our right is actually in the spirit of the founding of the United States of America to assert yourself. Right? So it's time for us to assert ourselves because and our identity, because at the end of the day, if we don't, it's like we never exist. It's like we don't. Um, it's like and the history records will reflect that. Still waiting for Professor Sec to join. I don't know. Okay, it seems like she's not going to join us. And this probably will be very short, Sister Cody, which is okay. But we wanted to jump on here and make sure that our message and our words have been felt, and that despite the despair that you might feel um, about not really having an option, not really having a direction, with all of the inflation, with all of the negative things in the news that we get and that we feel. I get a lot of calls and I hear a lot of people that say things. Uh, Despite that, there we are fighting for reparations, and there are options for us out there. And we at the Afro Descendant Nation working diligently to be able to create the network and the opportunities for us to explore all of our options and opportunities out there, at least if not for us, for the sake of our children. Sister Cody, anything else you wanted to chime in with regards to the debate itself, and the lack and the overall kind of climate and the lack of response from the American political establishment of completely disregarding reparations?
Yeah, just for my family out there who are watching now and who may watch later, don't be lullabied back to sleep. Stay the course and know that you are right to demand reparations. You are right to feel the need to demand something more than just cash payment. You have a right to feel that you deserve to be prosperous on the land which your ancestors fought so hard to maintain and died to help the oppressors gain. So keep up the fight. Don't give up. Afro Descendant Nation is here to support you. Um, we're all in this together. We have to remain united. It's evident that they don't care what our concerns are, so we have to be concerned about one another. We have to let everyone know that we have to stand united under one umbrella as a nation of people, just as they're dealing with us as a nation of people. So we can't be lullabied back to sleep to think that this is all the American way or some sky in a pie, just blatant lie that we can all just live harmoniously together in with equity. It's obvious that that's not going to happen. It didn't happen then. It's not happening now, and I don't see it in the future. I see separation. I see self determination, and I see that is the way to get your reparations. So, with that being said, I don't think I would declare any winner in that debate. They're all losing. They have no moral compass. So I said, do something different with your time. Make an informed decision and stay together as a nation, Afro-descendant nation. With that, Shahid, I say thank you for allowing me to voice my opinion. And thank you to the listening audience as well.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to close out on a point, Sister Mecca. Please follow that sister on Twitter. She has put her handle out there. Sister definitely puts it on the post. Follow Sister Cody. Should I put it out there? Your YouTube channel as well. Look forward to more collaborations with the good sister there. She's doing a lot of great work with the Afro Descendant Nation. And you can put your handle out there as well. Um, we just want to use this as an outlet to talk about the work that's really being done and the work that has been done in the United Nations, the work that has been done as you saw on the channel last night in Washington, D.C., we had the Black Men's Movement. We have the reparations boycott at reparationsboycott.org. Those are real tangible outcomes that have come out as a result of that. We have the plebiscite, and if someone can put the plebiscite in the chat, and support Sister Cody at News, Facts, and Comments, and at a Cody Speaks. And the point that Sister Cody made is there's no real winners. And actually, I'll go a step further and say America is the losers at the end of the day. What we see are two poor candidates for president. If this is the best that they have, America is absolutely doomed. They were doomed from the point of the president Biden that was there for the last 4 years, a man that was clearly incompetent, clearly incoherent, clearly not mentally aware and had the ability to do the job. How people saw him as the clear winner and candidate with his mental faculties in question, and all of a sudden in the last 2 months it became apparent when me personally it seemed like he was incoherent 4 or 5 years ago. It just seems like the country is on a collision course, and it is very important for us to take the reins on control for ourselves, and that's what self-determination is all about. Family. When we were freed from slavery, we were made as American citizens, and we were not even evenly. We were not even given the option. So, do you want to be Americans? Do you not want to be Americans? We were not given that option. And from that point, and even from the point that the first slaves landed in the United States, from the time they took our language, took our culture, took our religion, um, we have never been in a time where we determine our course. So as America goes, we goes, we go. And in the words of Malcolm, when America catches the flu, black people in America catch pneumonia. And when it's clearly obvious that America is losing in the way that it is with these terrible candidates, and let's not say terrible, they're good in their own right, but they don't seem like the presidents of old, at the very least, the competency level required. American politics have just become a sport and play thing, something for ratings, something a spectator sport, if you will. Nothing seems serious, and we can't allow ourselves to be part of this and go down with a sinking ship as it is. So, with that said, it's time for us to at least put our best foot forward to determine things for ourselves and for our future. And this is a very serious and important time. We didn't put this on as a spectator sport. We wanted to put this on to bring light that there's nothing here and there's nothing in the United States in politics that are for us, and we need to be for ourselves. So, with that said, I am going to close out. Family, we're going to be doing this a lot more. So, whether you agree with Afro Descendant Nation or not, we definitely want to hear from you. We do see a lot of people in the comments that do say things. We would like to give you an opportunity. We're not going to get into a shouting match. We will have a civilized conversation, but we must reason together if we're ever going to be able to get things done. So you are welcome. Welcome to watch all of our content. You're welcome to read some of the work that we've done in the United Nations. You're welcome to read about the Honorable Salas Muhammad. You're welcome to read about Harriet Abu Bakr. There's a ton of information on this channel. Take the time to be able to learn more about what we're about. And we would definitely love to hear from you with all that said. So with that said, we are going to close this out. It's been a pleasure, Sister Cody, to do this, and I hope we get the chance to do it a lot more. I'm thinking maybe we can do a CBC event here shortly. But we will have a lot more coming up to you. So thank you so much, Sister, for joining us. And I look forward to doing more with you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to building and doing greater things with you as well, my brother.
Absolutely. And shout out to Sister Mecca, Philadelphia family out there. Daniel Davis, I see you. I'm not sure what SBP means. I hope it's something good. I just want to give some acknowledgments out there before we go. But it seems like that's it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get Professor Fahima on here. I would love to hear from her. She has a lot to say on Twitter, and love to have her participation and hear her out. So you're welcome anytime, Professor, on here. Peace and blessings to the family. Afro Descendant Nation out.